Hello?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Alright.
When did he start playing?
What season?
What season did he start playing?
1.
I started playing late season 2.
Oh. Where are you trying to go? Salty.
What house are you going to? House.
Blue one.
I'm gonna go on the bottom of it. Oh. Someone's on the bottom floor.
Tears they make cloud. All I could see was blackness, but I could see it took my pain away. Cause it wasn't all just madness. I just felt bad for the wonder. She lost a future baby father. Not one time, but 2 times. He died filled with honor and love for this woman. As he fought for Wakanda, I'm singing from a better place. I've been erased. I wake up in the morning, I got Thanos on my mind. Spider-Man got the threads and my piece of hope in what see everybody try to hit him. He just bounced off of his high. I wake up in the morning, I got Thanos on my mind. Yes, I got Thanos on my mind. 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 Purple skin all on his body. He committed genocide. He snapped away billions of lives. Got families traumatized. And Hawkeye lost his wife and children. It took him by surprise. He loaded up his bow with arrows and were in disguise. He went to Mexico and Japan. Took hundreds of bad guys. The cartel and Yakuza to say all their goodbye. But Black Widow came to call him. It took time to reunite. He jumped into his arms, blood all on his shirt. I wake up in the morning, I got Thanos on my mind. Spider-Man got the threads and my piece of heaven. I see everybody try to hit him, he just bounced off of his high. I wake up in the morning, I got Thanos on my mind. Yes, I got Thanos on my mind. 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 I'm like a pandemic, I am a nana. I will let you alive. I am a cannibal. One day I am the last time on camera. How was she 60? Like we got you gonna be the best movie. It's will kill the others like it's Call of Duty. I'm feeling so good that I'm back to see Nakia's booty. Thanos on my mind.
of the great impact that the internet has had on our lives nowadays. It has changed my life dramatically as well. I want to tell you now about the most awful truth that was revealed to me on the internet. I was born into a family of two amazing historians and archaeologists who were really into their work. We've always lived out of suitcases and trunks because my parents took part in excavations all over the world. It was amazing to move from one ancient cultural place to another and to learn about new people, their culture, their language, and their history. Of course, it was hard to get used to a new home, school, and lifestyle. And deep inside, I hoped we would settle somewhere one day. And besides, I never had those normal things that most kids my age had and used every day. We never had a TV or the internet. In some places, we couldn't even use our phones because there was no service. But it never actually bothered me much. I always used to think that I had a very happy childhood, but everything changed one day. We lived in a small village in India, and my parents were working day and night. They would leave early in the morning and come back home very late. Once, my mother came back home alone. She looked really worried and nervous, and she told me that my dad had set off on an extremely important business trip, and that she would have to join him soon, and that I couldn't go with them. I was going to be staying with my grandparents. She said we were leaving immediately, and that I had to go pack as quickly as I could. Shock didn't even begin to describe it all. Nothing like that had ever happened before. We flew out on a red-eye to Austin, the city where my grandma and grandpa lived. Sure, I was excited to see my grandparents, but even though my mom had tried to persuade me that everything was okay, I still had some worries. I had a wonderful time at Grandma and Grandpa's, but my mom literally left the same day that we had arrived. She promised that they would come for me in 2 weeks, but it never happened. My grandparents told me that Mom and Dad had to work on something really important, and they would be coming a little later than they had it think. So I waved goodbye and set off for boarding school. It turned out to be so unusual and strange at first. The school was enormous, and there were electronic displays everywhere. All my classmates were always staring at their phones or discussing subjects that I couldn't even have a conversation about. I would often hear giggles behind my back when I tried to study on the computer in the library, or when I asked them stupid questions about the things that are pretty common in the modern world. I wish they would ask about African tribal customs or ask me to speak Mandarin Chinese. The only person I managed to make friends with was Olivia, my roommate. She was so amazed by the fact that I'd spent my whole life away from the civilized world. She would ask me questions all week before our lessons the next day. But she also tried to get me involved in everything that was going on at school to make me more modern. She helped me with all the devices and told me which was more important. She even taught me how to use the internet. My parents have always been pretty conservative and told me that there was nothing special about it. They encouraged me to read books instead, but I felt like a completely new world had opened up for me. I could look up any information there to learn anything that I wanted. I started to spend a lot of time on the internet. I made new friends and became part of my school community. Time was going by, but I still had not heard from my parents. I never even spoke to Olivia about them until it was time for our holiday break. She told me she was going to spend her holidays in the mountains with her parents and asked me, "Where are you going, Kiera? Where are your mom and dad going to take you this time?" I burst into tears and told her the whole story, but Olivia didn't seem to be discouraged. She said, "Come on, we've got the internet. If your parents are famous archaeologists, we can easily find them. Let's look it up there." So we went to the library and started the search. And it didn't take long. We managed to find tons of articles about the projects my parents had worked on previously, but there was no information about what they were doing now. But then I came across some forum where archaeologists were discussing a bunch of possible issues, professional or otherwise. And there were mom and dad's accounts there as well, but for some reason they were blocked. I kept searching, and finally I found a thing where archaeologists were discussing a recent incident of theft in India. I clicked on the link with a shaking hand and saw my parents' pictures. The words theft, ancient relics, and arrested occurred in every message. My parents, my mom and dad, were not on an incredibly important business trip. They were in prison because they had stolen some ancient Indian relics. I could hardly believe my eyes. Olivia was sitting next to me, stunned. It took me some time to start breathing again, to make myself stand up and call my grandma. My grandparents knew from day one what had happened. From the day of my
Oh my god. Oh my god.